Hey, this is DocHoliday, and wanted to show a little bit of the Warfronts, which is a new area we got to test out with Beta 4 in the Rift. And this is the PvP arena, so it's similar to a lot of other arena-style PvP in that you have group against group combat that you can go ahead and fight. In this case, you have relics that you go and try and pick up. It's that Fang of Regulos. An interesting thing with that is it does leave a trail and a path of kind of destruction in its way, so you can kind of get a feeling for where it is. You also take damage when you carry it. So it's one of those where it has its good points, its bad points. So in this case, the Warfronts are broken up in groups of 10 levels. So I'm level 12 in a group of 10 to 19, level 19s. So I'm quite a bit underleveled. As most PvP systems, there are deeds that you can get. This is my first time in. So you saw that first blood that I just got. That was for getting my first kill. I'm on my Paladin, which is probably not the best PvP tune to roll with, but there's a couple of fun things that Paladins can do. I do have a ranged stun that I can do. I also have some pretty deadly attacks against casters. So that's kind of what I ended up doing here, is trying to disrupt and annoy one of the casters. Didn't work very well, but dying in the PvP Warfronts, pretty painless. You just respawn back. I haven't quite figured out why sometimes you respawn quicker versus other times, but in this case I have to kind of sit here and wait for 20 seconds. You'll notice on the right side there of my bar, you'll see all the different bars of all the different people in my group. So you kind of get a feeling for how that's all set up. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and buff myself up here before I head out. There's a lot of other dynamics that are going on with how things are scored and who wins. You can get different renown and different kinds of things as you go through the battle. So there's a lot of things going on, but like a lot of the systems that are in Rift, if you've seen it in other areas, this isn't anything groundbreakingly new. It's a fun diversion. It's a fun way of going through and doing things in a somewhat controlled setting, but it's not necessarily going to revolutionize PvP in an MMO. So in this case, one of the things I think that hurts this particular area is there isn't in-game voice chat. So you end up getting into kind of a Zerg mentality. It's really hard to keep things focused. But I imagine if they added in-game voice, or if you're on a Ventrilo server, it'd be much easier to go through and communicate and do normal PvP tactics. The way you end up joining one of these is you can either be in a group or you can join it solo, and essentially you hit the letter K, which brings up the Warfront menu, and then you just join and queue up. Similar to a number of other games have this kind of system where you queue up to get into a Warfront. Some of the queues that I saw, I'll admit, were kind of long, but there were other ones that were pretty short, and only a couple minutes before I had to go through and hop in. As you can see, A, I'm trying to figure this out, and B, I'm not the best PvP player, nor do I think that Paladin is great. I think certainly, as with most PvP, being a ranged class is always going to have its advantages, but you couple the fact that I have a melee class that's drastically underleveled, and it just ends up being a lot of me running back and forth from the red circle. But it was fun. I do enjoy it. I like PvP, and it's fun to get into an environment where you can do some stuff and be useful and be helpful. And I think if we had some better ways to coordinate between the group, it would be a lot better experience. There may be other ways in the user interface that I just haven't found to go through and be able to set things up, but I think kind of after a while we started to kind of get a feel for things. One thing I will also mention is whenever you kill someone in the PvP area, you do have the ability to loot them, and what looting them does is it actually forces them to have to res back to respawn. Whereas if you don't loot them, they can be rezzed. So just something to keep in mind. If go through and give your group that extra little bit of time and ability to go through and do that. Now, some other rewards on the PvP side. There is gear that you can get that's based on those completing things and doing well in PvP. There's also PvP souls. So the soul system is kind of the core of Rift, where you can have different souls and different things that you can do. There are PvP souls that are a big part of the game. So we ended up winning that. We actually won it quite handily. And then after you win the event there, it goes through and gives you the tallies of how you did and how things worked. You can see my numbers were less than stellar, but it's kind of fun from the standpoint of being able to contribute even though you are underleveled. So, it's a quick overview on some of the video scenes from the Warfronts, and be more coming up later when we get